Big John McCarthy and Josh Thompson discussed the fight between Shavkat Rakhmonov and Ian Garry that's set to take place on UFC 310. Bilal Muhammad's injury might have significantly changed Shavkat's career trajectory, delaying a title shot from him and potentially even taking it away. He was a slight betting favorite over Muhammad, and the majority of fans who expressed their opinion about the matchup expected a close fight but favored Shavkat to come out on top. Well, after the welterweight champion pulled out of the fight, UFC started looking for a new opponent for Rakhmonov, who was asking to fight almost anyone just to stay on the card. What the company came up with was the Ian Garry matchup. Promising to be entertaining, this clash will see two former training partners go at each other, which always makes things more interesting to the public, especially during build-up for the event itself. Different stories about how those sparring sessions mostly went started coming out immediately after the bout was announced, creating more buzz about the matchup. Big John and Josh react to the fight.
Two undefeated guys. Let's see which one's going to fight for the title, because that's really what this is going to be. Whoever wins this gets the title shot against Bilal. And Garry has been fantastic. He's been smart. And look, people can sit there and say what they want about him. He is very Conor-like in the fact he talks like a sumbitch. He's good with his talk. He irritates people, and he's smart. When he fought, Michael Venom Page, he quickly realized, oh shit, yep, this guy is really good on the feet, and he's hard to figure out and stuff. And he figured this out before the fight ever took place. And in his camp, they said, we got to get this guy to the ground. We got to work at being on top so he can't be dangerous to us. And that's what he did. And that's what won him the fight. He almost lost that fight by not being able to take it to the ground at times. Basically a number one contender match against Shavkat. Perfect.
Michael Bisping and Paul Felder talk about Tom Aspinall's chances of beating Jon Jones and the confidence in his abilities that he carried all throughout Jon's fight week with Stipe when he was appearing in various interviews, claiming Jones is scared of him and can't handle his speed and power. Following the heavyweight champion's dominant victory over Stipe, in which he displayed nearly a flawless performance, the prospect of him defending his title against the young and dangerous prospect, the British interim champion, became even more exciting to fans. And Jon's vague comments about possibly taking that fight if UFC makes him an offer that he can't refuse only added to the drama and intrigue. The thing that makes this potential fight especially interesting to many is how heated the temperature has gotten between them and how split the fans are. Aspinall's claims and attitude was interpreted by Jon as absurdly arrogant and out of place. And while the Brit has been doing a good amount of trolling, everything that he has said regarding the Jones matchup indicates that he has a degree of confidence in his ability to triumph over the GOAT. Bisping and Felder react to this.
I agree with I think Tom might have been the one say it would be the biggest heavyweight fight probably in UFC history. I mean, Jon's back. He looked fantastic. Seems to have everything in order right now, like you talked about. Has this calmness about him, and he's got this new kind of aura about him that he's always had an aura about him, but now it's a little different. He's older, right? He's kind of growing into that. He's got the big beard. He looked good. He looked fit at 238 pounds.
Yep.
It's what we want to see. And then Tom, this young dude, we got a guy from the UK coming, he's knocking everybody out, just dusting people. And Tom made a good point. He's like, Jon loves to do film study. There's no film on me. And there's not when you knock. And listen, Tom tried to really, and this isn't just a like hype up Tom, but when you knock everybody out, he took his time. He didn't want to get to this until he was ready. And now he is very seemingly confident.
Things are starting to heat up around Jon Jones and his next title defense, which may come much sooner than we expected. Questions regarding the heavyweight champion's future were flooding all discussions among enthusiasts and analysts following the UFC 309 event and its result. It seems that Dana's approach of only giving attention to questions about the potential fight between Jon and Tom, instead of even considering the possibility of the Alex Pereira fight, was correct. Seeing the fans and the boss's reaction to the prospect of the Aspinall fight might have changed Jon's perspective about the value and meaning of such an event. Tom met with Hunter and Dana immediately after Jon's win over Stipe to discuss business, and later in his vlog said that he is already negotiating with them, and it's trending in a good direction. The timeline seems like the only issue to be worked out at this stage. John, on the other hand, also just posted a video of him in the gym, saying that he's already back on the horse. The most hopeful interpretation of this, which many fans adopted, is that UFC is finalizing a deal for a fight between Jones and Aspinall, and we might be hearing about this pretty soon. But the most interesting part is, what happened after this? Russian media reports that Jon Jones arrived to Dagestan to train with Islam Makhachev and Khabib and get some new looks. Jon has been to Dagestan years ago, and the reasons weren't too dissimilar to this occasion, though Islam and Khabib weren't involved. After a brief media tour, he visited some gyms and did multiple open seminars. The same sponsors appear to have flown him out to Dagestan now. Only this time, Makhachev and Khabib will greet him at their gym as well, and we might even get some footage from the training sessions. Jones's former training partner, Rustam Khabilov, who is also from Dagestan, revealed the news of Jon's arrival and what's expected to take place. In an interview with the Russian channel Vestnik MMA, Rustam said the following, quote, "Jones is already flying over here. We expect him shortly. As you know, we're good friends. And for a long time, we had been talking about him visiting Dagestan for the second time to get some sessions in with the boys as well. The time has come." When asked whether Islam or Khabib will meet with Jon, Khabilov said, quote, "Of course, everybody will be here," unquote. Kenny Florian predicts Peter Yan versus Davison Figueiredo. The former flyweight champion and the former bantamweight champion will face each other in the octagon very soon now. And while the rest of the division awaits to see how things play out at the top, these two will fight for a chance to inject themselves into championship conversations. This is especially true in Figgy's case, as Merab has been advocating for a fight with him or O'Malley next, instead of Umar. With 3 wins in a row since his move to bantamweight, the Brazilian former champion would be knocking at the door with a win over Yan, something that's certainly not going to be easy. As for Yan, he snapped his 3-fight losing streak with a victory over Song Yadong and hopes to ascend to a title reign once again, though a victory over Davison wouldn't be enough to get another shot at the belt for him. In the technical aspect, this clash has a high potential to be entertaining, and we can expect it to mostly play out in the striking context. Kenny Florian shares thoughts on the bout and gives his prediction.
Petr Yan always gets better as the fight goes on. This is, I think going to be the case here. I like the fact that this is a 5-round main event. I think that will help him here. Davison has been better with pacing himself, but still gets tired. And when you get a guy like Yan who's going to step on the gas late in the fight, I don't love that for him. And while Davison has some good takedowns, is it good enough for him to be consistent with them throughout 25 minutes? I'm not so sure. His best chance is a takedown, maybe taking the back and trying to get a finish against Yan. But I mean, Aljo couldn't get the finish against Yan for quite a while, even though he was on his back. So I expect Yan to be okay here. I like this fight for him. I think Petr Yan is back, and if he can get a win over a very tough Davison Figueiredo, this would be huge.